Lesbian, gay, bi, and trans activists are among those celebrating a decision by Facebook today to allow users to use aliases on their profiles. Facebook's policy had required users to go by their real name. Bryn Hendricks is a board member of Toronto Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays and joins us now in the studio. Good to actually see you in person. Thank you for coming up here.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of people are going to, so what's the big deal? Why is an alias better than using your real name?
It's not so much that it's better. I think it's just important to be able to have that opportunity for the number of people, particularly in the trans community, for example, that later on in life are going through transitions where their names are appropriately going to change to something that they've only been able to choose later on in life. So where they would have created a Facebook account at first and been unable to at the time that they created that account would have created a certain name under a certain name that would change after their transition. And also for certain performers in the community, it's not always safe to be able to use your own name, and nor would you necessarily want to when the performance name would be something that would be specific to the community that you're working with. And there's also a lot of political dissidents, people that are, people that are unable to necessarily come out for a variety of reasons that they might need to use different names to keep themselves safe.
Right. Now, has the LGBT community had a warm and fuzzy relationship with Facebook or otherwise? Is it the place to be?
You know, I think the LGBT community has always been sort of ahead of the curve in terms of technology usage. So from that perspective, there's been, you know, a huge usage from the community. I would say that with the relationship with Facebook, for Toronto PFLAG, for example, we've been very fortunate to have worked with Toronto, with Facebook when they made their gender changes. They announced in February that they added, I think, 56 different gender options, which was very important to do. And we were very grateful to be a part of that. There have been challenges, though, working with Facebook, and I think part of it is just systemic and growing so big so fast. I think there's some customer service issues that really need to be addressed, and I think, I hope that Facebook will start to take an opportunity to listen a bit better to some of the organizations and to some of the users. There's a lot of users on there that Facebook has taken a lot of new advertising policies and are using those users and are benefiting from those users. We hope that they also take the opportunity to listen to those users and the organizations who have something to say about the way in which their users are interacting with their platform.
Well, an awful lot of people have complaints about Facebook, and it's not this community or that. It's from every part of society. And a lot of people think that you don't have enough control over your own profile, your own page. Facebook has way more control over it than you do, and it's still not very private. Despite all the security settings, you take them all off, and it's still not as private as a lot of people would like it to be.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess the unfortunate reality of a social media platform is that there's so many different components to it. One of the things that we learned at Toronto PFLAG with the gender issues was that there were so many different gender options, but also who is to say, you know, is 56 all of them? And then what do we talk about when we talk about whether or not these 56 genders should be available to every different country? Well, some countries, it's not okay to be, you know, users might get killed.
Gender number 12?
Right. Yeah. You might get
I'm making that up, by the way. I don't know which one.
No, but it's very true, right? Where somebody, they might get killed for that. So Facebook does have to be very careful in the way in which they roll out their platform. And I don't fault them for that. But it's complex issues, and we hope that they'll listen to the organizations involved.
Bryn Hendricks is a board member of Toronto Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. Good of you to join us.
Thanks very much for having me.